my name is Diego Mariscal. I'm 23 years old and I have cerebral palsy. Today, my friend Kathy had some questions for me. So
hi, Diego.
Hi, Kathy.
So, like, do you feel uncomfortable if I was just like saw you on the street and I just asked you like a random question about your disability?
Yes, it can be a little awkward if you just do it randomly on the street. But I think that if people are genuinely curious and they want to ask questions, as long as they preface it with, "Can I ask a question about, your wheelchair or your disability?" Most people with disabilities, I think, would be open to it.
I saw like a person on a wheelchair. So when I talk to the person, like, would I sit? Would I stand?
The general consensus are, if you can be seated, that's better. Most of the time and most of the environments, people cannot.
Yeah.
So that's okay, as long as you were engaging with the person. The worst thing for me is, like, for example, when I'm at the airport and I'm on a wheelchair and then the people speak to the person pushing me instead of me. It's so annoying.
Wait, they actually do that?
Really annoying.
Oh, that's not cool.
Really
No,
annoying.
because like I've like seen some people like when they're on the street and they see someone that's like pushing themselves like on the wheelchair, right? Like I don't know what it's like to be in a wheelchair, but like sometimes they like when they're talking to the person, they like kneel down, and so like that person is like, it's like you're talking to a kid,
Yeah.
Like you like look up at them, so you kneel down, so you look up at them. Like is that appropriate?
It depends. If you are talking to the person in a very patronizing voice, I think that can be really annoying.
Diego,
Yeah.
How was your day?
Exactly. I think that could be really annoying.
I do not have much experience with communicating with deaf people. Tell me like how I would approach them. Like I don't know any ASL, so like.
The most important thing I think is when people who are deaf or hard of hearing have an interpreter, you actually want to see the deaf person and not their interpreter. The main communicator is still the person who's communicating, the deaf person. You should communicate to the person and say, what is the best method to communicate? I think that's the best way.
Same.
If you or anyone else have any questions, don't be shy to ask. I think that that's the biggest misconception, when people feel like people with disabilities cannot be approached, cannot be asked, or they don't want to discuss their disability. I think as long as you're doing it in a respectful way, I'm certainly open to it. So
I mean, I actually heard like my one friend, like she has a brother with a disability. She said it was like, she's not a huge fan of that. She was always just like, oh, it's like the same thing if Kathy, if like someone went up to you and be like, oh, like where are you from? And you're like, oh, Virginia. And they're like, no, where are like you really from? Like Korea? And I'm not. She just said it was like kind of offensive.
Specific.
So yeah, like, is that?
I don't think so. I mean, I
Okay.
think most people would be completely open to it.
Mhm.
The funny thing is, it's more uncomfortable when people just stare and don't say anything. Like, there's a bunch of like that. Exactly. A lot of little kids do that all the time, and it's instead of staring, I hate when people stare. It's the worst thing. So instead of, as much as I like the attention, it's really uncomfortable
Same. No, I'm just kidding.
when people stare. So instead of staring, ask questions. Just be like, hey, I was just wondering, what you thought of this. And it's a good way to meet people, because if I get
It's
asked,
like a conversation
Yeah,
starter.
it can be a good pickup line.
Okay.
Maybe.
So if you see a person on crutches, or and there's like some way that you want to help them, like it looks like kind of they're having a hard time, like how do you approach that? Do you just like obviously you don't want to like grab their crutches and be like,
I think
hey.
that's a really, really good question. I think that people should definitely ask before helping. And then also when like I need help and I grab someone's arm, they tend to grab it like this, right? And it's annoying because you can't get out of the situation. You're kind of trapped, right? So the way that most people, even people who are blind, so put your arm like that and let the person grab it for you.
Oh.
Because that way, if I fall, I can let go. If you're grabbing me like this, if I fall, there's no way to let
we
go.
go down together, Diego.
You are an assistant. You are helping them, right? But it's still letting the person with the disability be in control. So I guess asking them is the best piece of advice.
What? Like
Come into the camera.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm just like a third wheel.
This is Alex. She's
our other victim. I mean,
Yeah, I was behind the camera.
Well, if you have any questions, leave them down below, and or shoot us a video.
that would be great. Shoot us a
that would
video
be-
response to this video.
Oh, what's the hashtag for this week?
Maybe that's a thing.
Hashtag disability ask. Okay, bye.
Bye.